everyone, in these notes we're going to be talking about inequalities, so that can be the title on your table of contents for these notes. This is TOC number 6 for Unit 2. At the end of these notes, you're going to be able to say, I can graph and solve 1- and 2-step inequalities. So our essential question is, how do I graph and solve, let's just keep it short and sweet, inequalities? All right, so what is an inequality? It's a mathematical sentence that contains the symbols, and I'm just going to list them. I will explain what they mean in just a few minutes. All right, so go ahead and write those 5 symbols down. All right, so this first symbol means greater than. This second one means less than. Maybe when you were in elementary school, your teacher talked about the alligator mouth is going to eat the bigger number. That's because it's greater than, so it opens to the bigger number. This one has, it looks like the greater than symbol, but it has a little extra going on. And so this one is greater than or equal to. So it's got that little extra going on. So we got to write a little extra. And this one looks like less than, but it's also got that extra thing going on. So less than or equal to. And then this one, it looks like an equal sign with a slash through it. So it means what you were probably expecting it to mean. And it means not equal to. Okay, so right underneath, I'm going to tell you what circles are associated with each of these. That will come into play in a few minutes when we graph some inequalities. So you don't really need to worry about it right now, but I do want you to write this down. Okay, so greater than and less than have open circles. Greater than or equal to and less than or equal to have closed circles. So I like to think they've got a little bit of an extra thing going on with the line underneath. And so we got to do a little extra by filling in the circle. And then this one doesn't have any sort of, so I just put NA because it's not applicable. It doesn't have any sort of circle related to it. So any number that makes an inequality true is a solution to the inequality. Inequalities have many solutions. So for example, this one reads as x is greater than 4. So that means x is any number that is bigger than 4. So x could be 5, that's a solution. X could be 6. X could be 100, because if it said 100 is greater than 4, well, that's true. X could be 461, that's true. Okay, well, there's so many other solutions to this inequality that would make it true. How do you graph the solution to an inequality? The solutions are shown by drawing an arrow on a number line using the correct circle, open or close. So like what I talked about earlier, that's going to come into play when we graph. The arrow should go in the same direction as the symbol only if the variable is on the left of the problem. So only if the variable is in the front. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. We're going to see an example of this, okay? What does the arrow mean? It means that all of the numbers that it's pointing in the direction of, all of the numbers the arrow covers are solutions to the problem. What does an open or closed circle mean? So an open circle means that the number is not a part of the solution. And we already saw an example of this. So for example, this one right here, x is greater than 4. If you put 4 there, that's not true. And you see right here, we would use a open circle for this one. Okay, so 4 is not a part of that solution. However, when we have a closed circle, the number is a part of the solution. So for example, we would have a closed circle if we had x is greater than or equal to 4. That means 4 can be a solution for this problem, that 4 is included, that 4 and any number bigger would be a solution, so we would have a closed circle when graphing it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and graph some inequalities. So now we have x is greater than -2. I want you to rewrite this inequality, so you can do it to the side or right under it. Okay, and I'm going to do this in green, and this is why I wanted you to rewrite it. So as you can see, the inequality symbol can kind of make an arrow. Okay, so it's pointing to the right, and we're going to listen to it because the boss in this situation, or the queen, as we talked about, the variable is the boss. Okay, and since the variable is in the front, just like your boss, so either your parents or your teachers, if they're right in front of you, you're going to listen to them. Okay, so this one is an open circle since it's greater than. So we want to have an open circle at -2, and ooh, that's an ugly circle. There we go. Okay, and since the variable's in the front for this inequality, we're going to listen to it and we're going to go to the right. So my arrow is to the right. Let's try this next one. So again, I want you to rewrite the inequality so we can look at the arrow. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our arrow. Okay, the arrow is pointing to the right again. However, in this case, our boss is not in the front. So when you're in your room and if someone comes in your room and tells you what to do, like your boss, like your parent, you're probably going to listen to them because they're in your room. However, if they're not in your room and if they're not directly right in front of you telling you what to do, you're probably not going to listen to them. So in this case, we're not going to listen to our boss because our boss is not in the front. The variable is not in the front. So we're going to go in the opposite direction. Okay? And in this case, since we have greater than or equal to symbol, we got a little extra going on with that line, we're going to do a little extra by filling in the circle. Okay? So we have a circle over the 1, it's filled in. And we are going to the left because our boss is not in the front, so we're going to go in the opposite direction. So sometimes, guys, you're going to be given an inequality graph, and you're going to need to determine what inequality would fit the graph. So in this case, the first thing that you need to do is you need to choose a variable. Okay, the second thing, as you can see, I edited this a little bit. We're all human. We all make mistakes. So then you want to write a number to the right of the variable based off of where the circle is placed on the graph. Okay, the third thing you're going to do is you're going to determine the type of symbol based on the direction of the arrow. If the circle is closed, underline your symbol. If the circle is open, don't. underline your symbol. Okay, so let's look at an example. So I am going to use the variable x, and we are at, our circle is at 16, so I'm going to write 16 to the right of x. And now I have, I'm going to the right, so I am going to use the symbol that is kind of like an arrow going to the right, as you can see. And since the circle is closed, I am going to draw a line underneath. All right, let's try the next one. So I'm going to use x again. And the number that the circle is at is -3. And the arrow is going to the left, so I am going to use the less than symbol. And my circle is open, so I am done. I don't need to do anything else. All right, y'all, we're almost done. Just a few more. How do you solve 1- and 2-step inequalities? The same as equations. Isolate the variable by using the inverse of the operations given in the problem. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to look at what side the variable's on. For number 1, the variable's on the left-hand side. So we want the variable by itself, so we need to get rid of that +4. I do that by subtracting 4 on both sides. When I do that, these guys cancel out, and now I have x is greater than +4. So that's my inequality. So now I need to write some numbers on this number line, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to have an open circle at 4 because this doesn't have a line underneath. And then my x is in the front, so I'm going to follow that direction, and I'm going to go to the right. Okay, so for this next one, as you can see, my variable's on the left-hand side, c, and I have -3 on that same side, so I need to do the inverse operation. I need to add 3 to both sides. Now I have c is less than or equal to +5. Okay, so I'm going to write some numbers on my number line. And now I need to put a closed circle because it's got a little extra going on under the symbol. So I'm going to do a little extra by closing up the circle. And my boss is in the front, so that means I'm going to follow that direction. So I'm going to go to the left. So that means that all of these numbers, including 5, and all the numbers to the left of 5 are included in this solution. All right, now let's do 2-step inequalities, and then we are done. Okay, so my variable is on the left-hand side for this first one. The first thing I need to do is get rid of my constant. So I'm going to subtract 8 on both sides. When I do that, I get 16 on the right, and then I have 4w on the left. Now I need to divide by 4 on both sides. When I do that, I get w is less than 4. That's my inequality. So now I'm going to write my numbers below my number line. Yeah, guys, we need you to have, if a number line is blank, we need you to write numbers under it, or we don't know what your solution is, okay? So you need to make sure that if you're ever given a blank number line, that you write numbers underneath. Okay, my boss, first off, I need to do my circle, so I don't have a line underneath, so I'm going to have an open circle at +4, and then my boss is in the front, and they're telling me to go to the left, so I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to go to the left. All right, last but not least, this time my variable's on the right-hand side, so I need to get rid of the +4, so I'm going to get rid of the +4 by subtracting 4 on both sides. When I do that, I get -40, and please use your calculator. Don't be afraid to use your calculator. or embarrassed to use your calculator. Negative 40 is less than or equal to positive 8p. I want the p by itself. I don't want 8p. I want just 1p. So I'm going to divide by 8 on both sides. When I do that, I get negative 5 is less than or equal to p. Okay, I'm going to write it one more time, and you'll see why I'm doing that. So let's put some numbers on our number line. This time we have a negative. So we want to make sure that we are writing negative numbers and that they're going in the right order. Okay, so we're going to have a closed circle because it has a line underneath. So we got to do the little extra by filling in the circle. Okay, it's telling us to go to the left. However, who is in the front? Is the boss in the front? No, the boss is not in the front. A number is in the front, so we're not going to listen to it. We're going to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to go to the right since our boss is not in the front. Okay, so I know it's been a while since you've done inequalities, so hopefully this was helpful to you. Be easy on yourself. Again, you haven't done this in a long time, and even if you did do this, you haven't done it to this extent in a while. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.